I'm sorry, Socky. I'm going to bribe you with dreamies. And will you sit here with me nicely while I do this video? Come on. I'll put dreamies there. Not too close to the camera. There, look at you. We're not sponsored by Dreamies, but I think we should be. Don't you? Look. I think they could do that. Oh, there he is. Can you hear? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my show. A couple of episodes recently I've had in the members only bit to reward those people who pay cash to see this stuff. I've started doing a few things on there to incentivize that, because I can't keep doing it all for free. As a freelancer, oh, there's a soggy dreamy. There you are. Do have a look in the membership thing. You'll see it doesn't cost much. Neither does my Patreon, which I update every week with a new piece of something, whether it's writing or a video or something about what's going on behind the scenes in my life, in my working life. I hope everyone's enjoying the Halloween month. It's a whole month of Halloween stuff around here. As you know, I'm reading spooky books all month, and it's gone quite well, actually. I've had my phase of middle grade spookiness with both point horror and with Robert Swindells, who was or is a stalwart of middle-aged fiction, middle grade fiction, spooky fiction in this country. And I went through my phase of raucous 1980s splatter horror, kind of the very nastier edge of pop fiction from the 1980s with, I've forgotten his name now, Sean Hudson, and his book about vampires, Erebus, and poisoned farm food, essentially, that creates vampires, and Moon by James Herbert, which wasn't, actually no, it was very violent and dark and spooky. And now I'm on to Simon Clarke's sequel to The Day of the Triffids, The Night of the Triffids, which came out in about 2000, 2001. And I've had this paperback for about 20 years or more, never having gotten round to it, which is ridiculous because I love the Triffids. I love every version of the Triffids. And it was just too long, and it sat on my shelf like these paperbacks tend to, and you stop seeing them eventually. And so I've picked it up this October, and I'm halfway through, and it's fabulous. It has that slightly old-fashioned air that the original John Wyndham novel had. It's the son of the main character from the first book, who's become a pilot in this future where people live on the Channel Islands and eat triffids, run their lives with triffid oil. They power planes and cars with it, but live an insular life on an island. And he, during the Great Darkness, when everything on the planet goes dark, he's drawn off course to the mainland, where he's attacked by triffids, and it gets very exciting, and has a kind of Robinson Crusoe interlude where he thinks he's going to be alone on this benighted mainland forever. But then it becomes a kind of pirate ship story where he's taken off by New Yorkers who are from this colony in America, who have gone scouting for signs of life, and they want something from him, presumably this business of the oil, the refined oil that comes from triffids through a process that our hero's father invented. Anyway, that's all plot. What we end up with is our narrator being taken to New York on this ship and falling in with these pirates, making friends with some of them, finding a girlfriend, adopting a feral child, and gradually learning more about the society he's going to, knowing it's going to be different to the one that he's come from, because all these societies have reinvented themselves, and gradually finding out that it's something he is not going to like. He's going to find secrets about this society, or not even secrets, he's going to find out stuff that's out in the open that's going to shock him. And that's the point I'm at, where he's arrived in New York and realizing it's a segregated city along the lines of race. Apparently, that's the point I got to last night, and it comes as this kind of blinding shock to him. Race and sightedness, because of course more than half the world is blind following the initial story, the Day of the Triffids. So what's lovely about this is the scale of it. In the original book, we were in this Britain that had been blinded and attacked and became a dangerous place, and had to rummage for food in cities and go out to the countryside and find places to live. And the world in this book has suddenly expanded, not just to the Channel Islands. Now we're in America, and you see this vast country overtaken by huge triffids, and a New York which is bulwarked against millions of triffids right at the door, who will come in, given a chance, and eat everybody. So the scale of it's gone up, the danger level has gone up, and he's very good at doing that. I think Simon Clarke has done an amazing job, really. And you can see why the estate of John Wyndham would have been pleased with this story, which takes the original and expands it, extrapolates from it, and makes it bigger and grander. I can't believe it's not been filmed. So we'll see how the rest of this goes. I'm halfway through, and after that, I've got, there's many spooky books that I've got to cram in before the end of the month. Not cram in. I will choose the right ones and enjoy them. I might also have a detour to make. I picked up this again last night. I found it again. Then Again by Diane Keaton, which I read probably 10 years ago if I check. I think it came out about 2011. And it was reasonably recent when I got it for $1.99 in FOP downtown. I think it was FOP. I don't know. It's her memoir, which begins with her reading her mother's diaries following the death of her mother in about 2008. And it's a story of a family. I love those books where the person, although they're massively famous and knows the world wants to know about them, tells the story of their family. Cher did it last year in her memoir. Kate Mulgrew does it in 2 books of memoir. And Diane Keaton does the same here. This, of course, takes on an extra resonance because of the death of Diane Keaton this week and all the stuff about her, which has been everywhere. I had an evening 2 nights ago, I think, of rewatching Annie Hall and Manhattan, 2 of my all-time favourites. And probably, before the week's out, we'll have an evening with The First Wives Club and the one with Jack Nicholson. I forget what it's called. Something's Gotta Give, which I love as well. But the 2 Woody Allen ones are the ones that I really love as films. Anyway, I loved anything she was in. She was my favourite actress. My favourite actor of all time is Peter Cushing. I don't know what that says, really, that combination of favourite actor and actress. I wish they'd been in something together. I can't imagine what that would have been. Anyway, yeah, favourite actress. Anything she turned up in, I would see. And it got to me, really, that this week when they said she died. So it made me think as well, somewhere I've got a second volume of memoirs in one of my mystery book bags that I put aside. So she's there somewhere. The thing about when people have written books, it's so obvious. They've left a bit of themselves for you to go and find still. Their voice is still there. And in fact, at the beginning of this, the prologue is all about her mother when she kept diaries and realised that she had Alzheimer's, and she writes about writing her diaries and scrapbooks. She self-consciously talks about how important that is to pass them on. I'll just show you the photos of some of those scrapbooks and diaries because they're beautiful. There's a whole section of photos of Diane Keaton's mother's diaries. Look at these. It's the kind of thing that people, try and do courses on to find out how to do and buy special stuff. And of course, what she's done is kept scrap paper and all kinds of papers and photos and collaged them. It's really about learning the art of collage. And she just did beautiful work. And I love the fact that this book is so much about that. This is from the prologue. I'll read some. So why did I write a memoir? Because Mom lingers, because she tried to save our family's history through her words, because it took decades before I recognized that her most alluring trait was her complexity, because I don't want her to disappear, even though she has. So many reasons. But the best answer comes from a passage she wrote using those fine, abstract reasoning capabilities that she passed on to me. The year was 1980. She was 59. And this is what her mother wrote. Every living person should be forced to write an autobiography. They should have to go back and unravel and disclose all the stuff that was packed into their lives. Finding the unusual way authors put ideas into words gives me a very satisfying knowledge that I could do this too, if I focused on it. It might help me release the pressure I feel from stored up memories that are affecting me now. But I do something terribly wrong. I tell myself I'm too controlled by my past habits. I really want to write about my life, the close friends I knew, the family life we had, but I hold back. If I would be totally honest, I think I would reach a point where I'd begin seeing me in a more understandable light. Now I'm jumpy in my recollected thought, yet I know it would be nothing but good for me to do this. And then Diane Keaton goes on to write, I wish she had, and because she didn't, I've written not my memoir, but ours, the story of a girl whose wishes came true because her mother is not new, but it's mine. The profound love and gratitude I feel now that she's left has compelled me to try to unravel the mystery of her journey. In so doing, I hope to find the meaning of our relationship and understand why realized dreams are such a strange burden. What I've done is create a book that combines my own memories and stories with Mom's notebooks and journals. Thinking back to her scrapbooks and our mutual love of collage, I've placed her words beside mine, along with her letters, clippings, and other materials that document not just our lives, but our bond. I want to hold my life up alongside hers in order to, as she wrote, reach a point where I begin to see me and her in a more understandable light. I think there's such generosity in that. Sitting down to write your own life story and realizing that it's not just the story of you. Anyway, I'll be sitting down with some more of this. This made me laugh as well. I remember that. There's all kinds of funny episodes. It reminded me most of all, I don't know if this is right or true to say, of reading about somebody like Colette or Anais Nin, writers like that, writing kind of profoundly feminist texts, really, about their own lives, but their connection with other women, the life of the mind and the body all in one, and figuring out who that self is, finding ways to see who that self is, in the midst of everyone around them and all their experience, as if it's hard to see yourself. It's interesting. It's quite different to lots of the very male autobiographies and memoirs where, the person writing knows exactly who they're talking about. It's the character centre stage. Anyway, it's interesting and nice to go back to a voice that is no longer there in the world. It's ridiculous. I never met her, but I do feel as if I did. That's the life of books and reading, isn't it? And films. But more so, books and reading. You feel very close to those people whose voices you've internalized through the experience of reading. Okay, that's quite deep. And the cat's yelling. Come on, Socks. I will see you all again soon. I hope you're all looking after yourself and enjoying October. And I'll see you again shortly. Bye-bye.